Thanks for coming on, Dan. Do you
Thanks
want
for having me.
to talk a little bit about your leadership history so they've got a little bit of an understanding?
Yeah, can do. So I am, at the moment, I work for a company as a team leader. I've been a team leader for different teams in my job career. One was the head of a customer service department. I've also done team leader roles within scouting as well, and other volunteering organisations. I think I'm quite a good leader. I don't know for sure. I've had feedback, and most of it is positive, but we always strive to do better,
Of course.
and as leaders, and that's sort of like what you want to hear from a leader as well, to always strive to be better. But yeah, so that's a little bit about me.
Perfect. Okay. So the psychological safety, give us a quick oversight on that, because I went down a rabbit hole and I enjoyed it, and it was what I was looking for, but I think we just need to underline from your perspective, what do you think psychological safety is within a organisation?
So for me, how I look at psychological safety is one of three different sort of pillars within a company or an organisation, and psychological safety is definitely a big one, because without psychological safety, the main workforce and also leaders, anywhere they are, even if they're managers within the sort of like middle management, stuff like that, they need to feel like they have got psychological safety to get back and challenge what is already there, because a process might be wrong. A situation might be worthy of being, actually, no, it's unsafe. But we need to have the culture to be like, actually, no, I don't believe this is right. And stopping it right there and then before it gets any worse, and before potentially someone loses a life, or someone gets seriously hurt, and then you get a long lost time injury occur. And that's not really what you want in a company. What we want to do is we want to make sure that everyone goes home and enjoys their life and is able to be as healthy as they can, and just earn the money so they can do what they want at the end of the day. But one of the pillars is psychological safety, and I think it all starts, and I must admit, if any viewers are wanting to look into this a bit more, Amy Edmondson is someone to look at and watch some videos on, and she's a professor, and she knows her stuff on this area, and she talks about it within quite a lot of detail.
Yeah, no, that's good, and I did go down that rabbit hole with her as well, and it come out the back of it for me, and this is, say, I've always been looking for that company that had the right ethics, that looked after their guys, looked after the client, that actually you all work together and build it together. But I never really knew what it was called, and I never really knew that it was a thing, if you know what I mean. Like, I just, that's what I've been looking for. And since my career started, I've been looking for that right company to work for. I couldn't find them. I was a subcontractor. Maybe that was part of the problem, because I go to a company as a subcontractor, they don't really let you in the doors, because they know that you could move off and go somewhere else, or there isn't that culture there, or even worse, it's a tick sheet. So they go in and go, yeah, we do this, and this, and get the ticks, get the accolades or whatever, but they don't fulfill it. And as soon as you said that about psychological safety, I was like, damn. And then looking into
Amy Edmondson,
I was like, finally, that is what I want to do. And then that's why we're having this conversation now, in preparation for setting up the business setting up now for when the PMs come in sort of 5 to 6 weeks.
Yes.
I want to make it so they feel safe, that they can communicate with us, that it's an open policy with it, not just it's an open door policy, you're welcome anytime, but you're not.
Yeah, and I think the first step in anyone thinking, right, how can a culture be changed? Well, it starts with you. It immediately starts with the person thinking, if we need to change this culture, if we need to get it better. Because one thing is, especially when you're in management and middle management, or any sort of leading role, you need to make sure that you are starting the ball rolling, and showing your colleagues what the example should be set at, giving them the boundaries, setting all of this out in sort of like an unwritten sort of like contract as was, but you kind of given them sort of like this is what I want, this is what I expect, but also it's telling them that like I'm gonna sort of like there's gonna be an issue one day. Maybe I might challenge that, and it should be that it shouldn't be just like the people are being blamed.
Yeah.
It should be like what actually led up to this, what actually happened. So if something happens, be the person that just goes, right, okay, something went wrong. Something just went wrong. But actually, how did we get to that stage? What was the situation? What was the hurdles that we had to go over to get to this and make this decision? So yeah, I think it's starting out with if you want to have that psychologically safe place to be, then making sure that you can get that, you are showing that from day one within yourself.
Because I've always, in my management experience, we make so many decisions on per day. Like I'll make 100 decisions, maybe not per day, but say set 100 decisions, I'm going to get some of them wrong. And I think it's almost just admitting that they're not going to be perfect. And I think there is also a risk that if you don't have the culture for you to feel confident in making that decision, and you're hesitant at making that decision, not making that decision could actually be worse for the situation. Like that hesitancy, that sitting back, because you're too scared to make that decision. The culture's not right.
Yeah, at the end of the day, if you are a leader, you've got to make sure that you are, one, having those conversations if you need to, or making the hard choices. Sometimes that is just what leaders have to do. But in the essence of it, as a leader, can you get information or can you get advice from your workforce, from your team? Like, it doesn't have to be just the information that comes from yourself to actually come about that. Is it the fact is that your decision might not be actually right, and owning the fact is that you might be making the wrong decision in the first place? But is the culture there that the people below you can challenge you on that as well? So it's setting that example as well. It's just like, well, if you think something's wrong, challenge me. Let's have that conversation.
It's egos though, isn't it? I mean, that is, a lot of it must be down to the manager having an ego, and they turn around and put their flag in that decision. Their ego's not allowing them to listen to anything else, especially not from someone below them. Like, how can you challenge me? There's so many blocks with human nature, and they could get the same situation up. It could sort of flood down, like how they react to people. Could be because that's how their bosses are, and it's just.
But that's what I'm saying is because you're starting a new business. You're the director of this business.
Yep.
Are you? Yeah, with a couple of other people, I believe.
Yep.
So you three need to, at the first from day one, from the top, be like, right, okay. You might not be able to do it every day because you're going to have to be doing this, that, and the other. You're going to have to be making bigger decisions that normal managers would have to make. But at the end of the day, you still need to start that flagship off, and it's really important it coming from director level and down, because a lot of people, I know through my working, a lot of people have said, well, what are the upper management doing and stuff like that, and I think, well, they are doing it. It's just because they just don't see it sometimes, and I think if you start from the top, from the word go as well, amazing.
Well, the plan is that, and I'm fortunate that the co-founder and the directors around me buy into it. We've already had that discussion. So I'm fortunate being in the situation where I've got the foundation. Like, my co-directors believe in the ethics that I believe in. So that's amazing. And that's why we work together so well, because the first point, we believe in it. Tick. Not being a tick, but a tick. Don't like ticks, but we're ticking. Then it's just trying to understand what that means. And I think as we've been talking about, it is realistically, it's just having that open communication. One of the first stages I'm planning is that we get the guys involved with deciding on what projects people work on. That's not our decision. We're going to invite the guys around us to go, right, okay, we're not going to dictate to you what you do. we're going to ask you what job suits you best and get them involved with that decision. And I think from the start, that's a really good way for them to naturally just feel that, actually, I'm being listened to, and this is good.
Well, you're starting to install with that way a bit of trust. You'll start to install like, oh my God, they actually believe that we can do this. They're like, there is so many different things that actually go and this business is yes, okay, we're the directors, but actually it's all of us. Where are we going to take it as a team? And being more of a team outlook from the word go is fantastic, because you can just be like, right, okay, let's pull them in, and they feel more encouraged to get up to being potentially, because with psychological safety there's 4 stages, and getting up to that top stage, which is all about sort of a challenger belief, so they can challenge you and you challenge them and everything like that. But when you don't have a team that is a team, then you don't have that. But in your way and how you're thinking about it and how you want to be, that is bringing that team aspect to it. So you're going to get up to the point where they're going to feel safe enough to be like, actually, I don't know whether this is right, or do we need to be doing something more along these sort of lines as well. And it's about how you approach the conversation, but the fact is, if they feel like they can challenge, fantastic in that regards.
Because what I'm also planning on doing is that the way I look at it is that I want the business to run without me. So I want to enable the guys, the teams, because I've been in operations for quite a while now, from sort of operations manager, now operations director. I've done my job when I'm not needed, because the operations is the systems and everything's become smooth. The guys know what they're doing. When we've got there as a culture, I've got there to the point I can just go, I've got it under control. Still be around the peripheral and obviously aiding and helping, but I think my mindset is just get in, give it to the guys. This is your baby. We're all in it together. Let's see what you can do. I've also managed to redesign all the systems. So have had quite a bit of time, and I've looked at the systems that I can put together with the project managers in place. But I've stopped at a certain point, and I think that, again, that's my mind thinking, I want the guys to get involved with the systems. I don't want to turn around and go, right, you must do this, and this. I want you to actually, here's the foundations of what I think it should be, but I'm not there doing the systems.
So first thing question I've got then is, what's your strengths?
Me personally?
Yeah. So we're talking business world, we're talking company. What are your strengths?
I would say that I can reflect really well on things that I've done to make them better. I can look at the bigger picture. I can look at individuals. I can see where things don't quite work. And I can actually just take a little step back and just go, right, well, that didn't work. How can we do that? And I can just kind of, I can make it happen. I can bring the ideas. I can bring the bases of the system. But what I'm not very good at is I'm not very good at making them implement it.
Okay, so it's more, so you're more of the idea guy. So you're sitting there, you've got the idea, you've got it ready to go, you kind of know where you want to take it, and you can kind of see where it needs to go, but potentially it may not be the full ticket as such, without want of a better phrase. So no, but that's where, like you say, you're going to get your team involved to make it, because also the fact is, if you know where you want to be, you might not also make that as streamlined as possible.
Yeah.
Because if you're looking at the idea and you're going, right, this is where I want to go, this is sort of like the end point, this is sort of like the image, but if they're going to be using it every day, they're going to be wanting to make it, how can we make it streamlined? How can we make it easier? Like in business, money is time. Let's not beat around the bush on that one. You've got to still make money at the end of the day. So how can you streamline stuff? How can you make it more efficient? How can we make it more effective as well? And that's a loads of questions that hopefully your team, like when you start with this sort of like going, right, you're leading by example, right, we've got this system, we want to do some work with it, give me some ideas. That will also start helping that, they start bringing those ideas to the table as well, and that will start helping build that structure.
Because there's no way and this is probably, I think, where other companies go wrong, is no way I can, from start to finish, complete a system and tell someone to do that when I don't actually implement it myself. Because it's crazy, isn't it? You know, I could sit there and I could do them on how we're gonna do monthly progress updates, and I can do this and do that, and I go, right, this is how we should do it. That's not my forte. I'm not the one implementing that. So they're the one.
Neither have I. The only time I've ever accepted being told what to do was when I was a chef. And that's the only time. That's when I was working in the kitchen. Any other time, I don't enjoy being told what to do at all. So it's getting that buy-in. And that's the thing, is how do you get a buy-in for it? And it's to make it as fun, make it as easy, make it as simple as possible. And that's for anything. And that's for buy-in, for psychological safety, for anything. You make it as fun as possibly can. I do a lot of courses and stuff like that, and I do some presenting. And I must admit, I have presented some very hard subjects in my time. And I think the best way, my first time I ever presented, I'll take you back to this one quickly. First time I ever presented was a course on safeguarding. Safeguarding is a very difficult subject to talk about, more to do with the fact is to teach people to look out for, because you've got to go into some areas. We need to talk about it because we need to make sure that everyone is safeguarding, that there is that in place. But how do you get people to remember it? Well, what do you more likely remember? You remember the good stuff, the fun stuff, the interesting stuff. Well, make it good, make it fun, make it interesting, make it simple. If you can't present something to someone, or if you can't present it to a 10-year-old and them understand it, then what's the point?
But you're dealing with a quite sensitive subject to try and make fun.
But it is quite a hard subject. But at the end of the day, what you've got to do is adapt it. So yes, you be serious when you need to be serious, but don't be continually serious. Because at the end of the day, you've got to have some moments where you just got to have a little bit of light. In every subject or in everything you do, you've got to have light. You've got to have a balance. There has got to be that yin to the yang as such. You've got to have that complete look, not just oh my God, this is serious the whole way through.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And that fun element, and so my co-directors, we've always brought that, they've more than me brought that fun element into it. I always used to take work too seriously, and I used to be head down, work, look up, work. And weirdly enough, I ended up being ignored because I thought that my strength would be to work hard and then you get respected. And that isn't always true. What you need to be is that you need to be, and this is a good one for the managers moving forward, is that you need to be that person that solves that problem without causing any difficulties, just gets on and does things. You know, the person that I remember the most are the ones that come in that are cheery, that go into the kettle and make a cup of tea, make the group feel welcome and nice, that have a bit of fun, that go and do that. You set a task or even talk about a task. There's one particular person that I'm thinking about, and they will do this task. They'll talk about something, and next thing you know, it just then arrives on your desk. I think it was only an idea, and it was like, that gets done, completed, sorted. I'm like, that's amazing. Like, without even much of a nudge, that is that manager that you want. That is that person that you want around you, not the person that just does the work, doesn't interact, doesn't have fun. You know, there's loads of that formula that you need. You
need a balance. And that's what I was saying earlier. Just having that balance of yes, there is going to be tough times. Yes. And saying it to your colleagues as well. Don't let them in. Be honest. Yeah. And saying, yes, it is going to, at the moment, I've got a lot of work on it where I work at the moment. We are getting to the point where we're like, oh my God, there is so much work. And my colleagues are feeling it at the moment, and I'm feeling it, and I understand where they're coming from when they're going, we've got so much work, what are we going to do? Well, simply, we're in this together. Yeah. We're going to get through this. We're going to do this. We are one team, and we will crack on. And I'm not letting my team fail. Yeah, and I won't fail them either. And that's the whole point. I'm honest with them. Yes, it's going to be tough. Yes, it's going to be horrible. But I promise them, hey, if they do that, I will help them out no end. Yeah. Because it's a bit of back and forth.
Yeah, and he's touching base as well. You know, like what I will be doing on a weekly basis. I'm just doing a catch up Friday. So this is where people will do a teams meeting. People can come in, come out. Not that worried about who's attending. It's not forced, but it's literally each week, 11 till 12. Teams meetings there. Just have a catch up, guys. Any problems this week? Anything that you've come up that you think you handled really badly that you want to talk about? What I'm hoping that they'll do is that if they're struggling with something, maybe one of the other team members will throw their hand up and go, look, I've got a few hours spare next week. I'll give you a hand. And it's creating that culture of communication, and that's really important. I find that we need to make sure that everyone feels free and comfortable with going, I'm struggling now, you know. And if we go back to the previous episodes that I've talked about, I never had that freedom as well. So hence the heart attack and the breakdowns, everything I had, because I didn't feel like I was confident enough even to say, help, I'm struggling.
Yeah, and where were you keeping all that energy?
Inside.
And that's the point. And with, I think some of the best managers or leaders that I've ever seen are leaders that actually be very honest. If you're having a bad day, I'll be frank, they've told me they're having a bad day.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean they're not going to do the work. Doesn't mean they're not going to be there for me if they need it, or if I need it, or anything like that. It just means they've told me, they've been honest. I'm having a bad day. It happens to everyone. And sometimes just knowing that, and just knowing that your manager or leader is human.
Yeah.
It's a very big thing.
Well, so I always say to everyone that, you know, I've had obviously managers below me that are having just shit days, absolute shit days. It is just, and it becomes comical. I've been there myself. And what I say to them is that, yes, you're having a bad day. You may even have a bad second day, but you won't have a bad week. You if you have a bad week of 5 continuous days where you're having an absolute nightmare, there's problems, you know, and then we need to really evaluate what's going on. Realistically, it usually comes in threes. And if someone turns around and says, I'm getting hammered again, another problem, that'd be number 2. I'll say number 3 is around the corner, just be prepared for it. And even throw a little bit of, you know, joking around with it, because it's going to happen. Prepare for it. And then the third one just whacks them. And it gets to the point they then just laugh, just because your day can't get any worse. But it becomes funny. You know,
yeah, unfortunately, you get to the point where you're just like, you do get hysterical about stuff going on, and it can get like, it can get quite funny. But at the end of the day, knowing that you've got your team around you, and especially when you're saying the manager's underneath you, so they've got you as well.
Yeah.
That they're having a bad, it's triple time, triple threat. Then you understand that actually, it is a bad day. But it ain't gonna be continually bad. We can sort this out. You can do this. But no, I think
how do we deal with potential resistance of the new culture? So way I think potentially is that there could be project managers or managers coming in, and potentially they just, you know, they've been used to getting on with it, getting their head down, getting the job done, and now all of a sudden you can like open up. They could be like, I'm not quite comfortable with that. It doesn't quite work with me.
time.
Time.
The time, fun, simple, easy, leading, all of this will eventually bring them round to be like, actually, no, I can see what you're doing here. I like the cut of your mustard as such. I like that what's going on here. I like it, and actually, I can get a part of this. And seeing the benefits over time, it's not going to be a quick fix. Like any culture change is not a quick fix. It's not an overnight. It has to be persistent, and it has to be consistent. So if you want your team to be in a certain way, then you've got to consistently be the leader of that team. You can't just start telling them what to do and then do something completely different yourself. Like I used to tell my team, like, but yeah, I think buying in genuinely is just lead by example, and the time, just a little bit of time, especially if they've come from, like you say, years of like, no, get your head down, get grinding, don't worry about anything else, just get on, we're paying you for this time, blah blah blah. that's going to be a long time to get that out. Imagine if you're smoking or anything like that. It's a habit, it's a routine, it's something ingrained in you to do, where you've just got to change it and come out of it.
And that's me, that's me as the leader, as the head of the ship. I need to be proving and showing to them that, I'm being open. This is how I deal with it. I'm having a bad day. This is not going right. I fucked up the other day. I made that mistake, but I learned by it, and making that known, keeping all the secrets, they disappear. It is all about being upfront and honest. And if I show that, hopefully it will all follow with me, and then we create a culture.
Everyone makes mistakes.
Oh,
Everyone
huge.
makes mistakes. My team 100% know that I make mistakes. More to do around my speech. I get words wrong sometimes.
Yeah.
But that's the whole point. They know it. They will also make mistakes during their time, and it's fine. They're mistakes. No one's died.
No.
So at the end of the day, no one's died. You can, unfortunately, in this industry, construction world and everything like that, you can make mistakes where people can die. But from that, we need to be making sure that we're saying no before going into an area where we think, actually, this is way too out of bounds here. We should not be doing this. And actually going, no, let's call it off. Let's double check what's going on here. Does it meet the regulations it should meet? And then moving forward. But yeah, at the end of the day, if you're in the office or something like that, yeah, you need to.
Yeah, I think that's quite a good point. Is that I think especially in construction, what you find is that people just turn their eyes, don't want to see it. You'll be all right. It'll be all right. Yep. Let me know when it's done. That kind of, and that is something that is stopping now, because we've spent a lot of time really getting into the reads about the ins and outs and the health and safety elements and things like that, because gone are the days now where we turn a blind eye and we're upfront about it. And it's very habit. Like, there's a big thing about the risk assessments, and potentially people just don't do the risk assessments because they don't truly know how to do them. And you go and do a course and it's got no relevance to your environment you're in. So what we're now doing is that we are now doing our own course and actually explain to the guys to make it relevant. You can go and do an SMSTS course or anything like that, and it's just not relevant to your day in, day out. The people that teach you how to can teach you properly your companions around you, and it is that open culture of like, okay, well, I've got to do a risk assessment. I don't quite know what angle to come from. Well, let's chat. Let's all of us chat around it. We've been in that situation before. If not, we'll go and get a specialist and bring it in together. Because I think if you're unconfident with what you're doing, the tendency is just to turn a blind eye, be all right, and just wish, which is no good.
No good at all.
No. So I think we're coming up towards the end now.
Okay.
I think that's been great conversations. I think we understand, or I'm underlining where I need to be. And I think the crux of it is, and for our conversation, is that I am the culture. It's me, isn't it? Really, at the end of the day, I am that culture. I need to be living it and showing people that there is authenticity, there is openness. We are open for discussion. There's no prejudgments. If we're having a conversation, I'm not thinking about, okay, which angle he's coming from. I need to start listening to your words. It's forming that, and same with the listeners. From their perspective too, they can change their culture, but change it with you first, and then let the rest of it sort of build from there. And you're going to get setbacks. And, again, I'm fortunate having the partners with me that support me. And this actually, you said something earlier, and actually made me appreciate them more, because they've given me freedom. They turned around and they've never turned around to me and said, that's a stupid idea. Well, why the fuck are you doing that? They've never done that to me. And they've literally allowed me to be as good as I am now by just giving me the freedom of doing it. And we're creating something really good because I've been allowed that freedom. So that was my culture from them down, and now we're together. That's what I need to emulate with the guys below me, because the culture that I create there can actually make the company that we're forming fantastic. Just get them all involved, allow them to express and allow them to come up with ideas, allow them to make mistakes. They happen, it's fine. But don't make that same mistake again. If you make that same mistake again, then that's not very good. Make it a third time, then something's seriously wrong. So yeah, I think that's where we're at with it. And again, it's just creating that culture and believing in it, really. Any last words for?
No, I think we covered it quite well there. So yeah, I think we're all good.
Yeah, we'll appreciate coming down, and
thank you very much.
I think we've got a lot of. I think we probably could go on for quite some time.
I think we could, yeah.
On top of this, and I think we'll definitely want to get you back, and we can discuss about management styles and things like this, and development that way. But yeah, thank you.
Thank you.